Hey everybody, Alonzo here with Gulf Coast Smoke. Today we're back with another comparison video. So in the past you've already seen us do an all-purpose comparison. We did Heath Raws versus Killer Hogs on some steaks. I'm a Weber Jumbo Joe, and those turned out really good. Both of the seasonings are very, very good for sure. But when I bought those two, I also picked up some Meat Church seasoned salt and some Elk Creek Barbecue Black Label AP rub. So today we're gonna cook some tri-tips, and all we're gonna do is smoke them, sear them, use this rub, and we're gonna find out which one tastes better. If there's not one that tastes definitively better, like always, I'll just describe to you what I taste, and we'll look at the ingredients and all that good stuff. So I've already trimmed these, and I'll show you guys a little bit of that footage here. The thing I really love about these tri-tips is I think that it's very easy to trim the fat cap off. If you look here, I'm basically just holding the fat back using my blade, and the weight of the meat is actually just pulling it away very, very simply. And I think that that's really, really important to know when you're trimming these tri-tips. I have seen people leave the fat cap on before. I think it's up to you. I personally like to trim the whole thing off, and this is what we ended up with in the end. So yeah, we have these two nice looking tri-tips. You can see here, I left a little bit of silver skin. That doesn't bother me at all. And we got a pretty clean trim on both of these. These are choice grade. I got them at my local meat market here in Portland. Actually, Clayton's Meat Market just opened up. Really, really awesome that we have that in town. So if you guys are from around here, go ahead and check them out. But these are the tri-tips we're working with. Now, I want to talk about these two rubs. So if you look at the ingredients on these rubs, you'll notice that they're extremely comparable. One of the things I did notice on the Meat Church as compared to the Elk Creek is that the Meat Church doesn't show black pepper there. So that doesn't necessarily mean that there's zero, but it means that there's definitely not a large amount in there. So I'm curious to see if this Elk Creek barbecue is going to have a little more spice to it just from that pepper alone. The next thing I want to do, pour some out so you guys can take a look. So if you come closer, you'll definitely see that this Meat Church here has a different color. It's almost a little more orange than the Elk Creek, which is a little more brown, kind of looks like sand. So there's definitely stuff in here that is obviously not in the Elk Creek. If you also look at it, I mean, they're both extremely, extremely fine. So I don't think it's going to create like a crazy crust or anything on the outside of the tri-tips, but I'm still interested to see how it's going to taste, and I still want to cook these, and I think that they're going to turn out really good. Both seasonings smell very, very good just from here. I can tell you that much right now. But let's go ahead and get these tri-tips seasoned up. Head outside. We're going to be cooking on my Weber kettle today with that Slow and Sear Deluxe. Thanks again to Slow and Sear for sending that to me. And we'll go ahead and sear them off in the end. So we are using that reverse sear method. But anyway, let's go ahead and get these seasoned up. Alright, so the Slow and Sear has been doing its job. It's been rocking at 275. It's been about an hour now, and it just hit 105 degrees internal. So what I want to do now is I want to let these coals get really hot. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the tri-tips off, let them rest for just a second, keep this wide open. We're going to take the lid off, let it get some oxygen, let those coals get hot, and then we'll sear this off. So the Slow and Sear is really good at holding temps. What I like to do is crack it halfway on the bottom, and I leave the vents on the top all the way wide open. And if I need to, I'll just adjust those throughout the cook. Today, I was at 275, rocking and rolling the whole time. So if you guys don't have a Slow and Sear and you have a kettle grill, I definitely recommend looking into them because they are a great piece of equipment. But enough of that, let's go ahead and take a look at how these tri-tips are looking now before the sear. Okay, so about an hour and 15 minutes later, our beautiful tri-tips are completely done. I cooked them each to 125 internal, and I'm hoping for a medium rare on these. So let's go ahead. I want you guys to come on in close. Let's slice these up, see how we did, and then, of course, it's time to taste them, and we'll talk about the differences in these two rubs. Okay, so you can see these two tri-tips. Both of them look beautiful. Nice crusts on the outside, but how do they look on the inside? Let's go ahead and get you guys a money shot. All right, so that one I would say was cooked perfectly. Nice rare all the way through, medium rare here, and that looks amazing. That's exactly how I want my tri-tip cooked. So I'm ready to take a bite of that here in just a second, but let's look at the other one. Yeah, and another nice looking tri-tip for sure. This one looks like it's cooked just a tad bit more, but still I would say on the medium rare side, maybe medium, no big deal. I love the way that looks, and I definitely like cooking my tri-tip more rare, medium rare for sure. You know, this cut of meat just tastes so good, and when you get it rare like that, it's like butter. You don't even really have to chew, so that's the way I prefer to cook these. Okay, so the money shot looked great. Now, you guys know what time it is. I love B-roll. Let's go ahead and get some slicing B-roll, and then we're going to get right into tasting this.
Oh, you have your way, and it's making me weaken. You and your stardust, walking like that. It's really getting too much, but I can't pull back. Though I try to resist, I can't fight this. And no one makes me feel like you do. And no one sets my body on fire. And no one gives me shivers like you.
All right, you saw that B-roll? Tri-tips looking really good, but just like I always tell you guys, doesn't matter how good it looks, how does it taste? Let's go ahead and hit this meat church first. I mean, that's just so good. Simply so good. You know, looking here, salt, sugar, spices, dehydrated garlic, onion, paprika. I don't know what else to say. That's like a standard all-purpose rub, right? And it tastes really good for sure. And it's not, I guess I would say that it's not like special. I don't taste anything outrageous in it. Not that it's not special, but it's just like an everyday AP rub. Very good, but I don't taste anything too crazy. I think that's a pretty good way to go about it, right? I mean, with an all-purpose rub, you don't have to be too crazy. Salt, pepper, sugar, maybe a little bit of garlic, stuff like that, and you're good to go. But let's go ahead and try this Elk Creek Black Label AP. Okay, so I honestly get more flavor off of that off the bat. And I do see garlic powder and MSG in here, so that might be where I get that instant pop of flavor, to be 100% honest. So if you don't like MSG, this Meat Church does not have MSG. I will say though, in my opinion, the Black Label AP by Elk Creek Barbecue has more of a pop right off the bat. I instantly get a burst of flavor. I taste a little bit of garlic, of course, salt, a little bit of sugar, but that burst, I think, is that MSG. So if you're okay with MSG, I definitely would give this a try out for sure. Now, again, if you don't like MSG, Meat Church is a great option. And again, both of these are really good. And like I said with the Meat Church, I just don't instantly get something crazy, right? So there's some rubs like Texas Beef by Cosmos Q. When I take a bite of a steak with Texas beef on it, instantly I'm like, that's different. Sugar, pepper, crazy. I've never had another rub like that. I know you guys can hear my son probably. He's ready for some tri-tip. Just like always, this would not be a Gulf Coast Smoke video if my son wasn't in the background screaming somehow, some way, or making some noise. It's all good. I also want to give a quick shout out to my boy Don. Don's Lawns has a great YouTube channel. He does yard work all the time. Every time I have trouble with my yard, I text Don. I say, hey dude, what do I need to do here? And he'll always point me in the right direction. So thanks Don for the hat. And you guys should check out his channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. As always, I really appreciate you guys tuning into this video. What should we compare next? I'm gonna go outside with my buddies. My wife made some homemade tortillas. We're gonna have some tri-tip tacos. It's gonna be a good night. We're gonna watch some basketball. Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.